Siddhis, the yogic superpowers. These are abilities that emerge through deep states of realization. To some, they may sound like fiction. To others, they are simply part of their reality. The word siddhi comes from Sanskrit, and it means attainment or accomplishment. Siddhis are natural byproducts of elevated consciousness, gifts that arise not from effort, but from alignment. And although these gifts can be powerful tools, they're often used as distractions. Many avatars and masters have warned, do not chase the powers, or you will miss the source. It's like standing beside the ocean and becoming obsessed with a puddle, unaware that it was formed by something infinitely greater. While siddhis can act as milestones on the path, they can just as easily hinder your growth. If you stop at every milestone, you may never reach the mountain's peak. And if these abilities are used to impress, manipulate, or intervene, they generate karma, pulling you back into the illusion of separation. Like so many other phenomena on the spiritual path, siddhis are mirrors. They reflect your inner refinement, but they are not the destination. If you start chasing power, you stop chasing the truth. There are a vast array of abilities one can experience through this process, but I want to share a few examples to help understand the tools in which siddhis are. Classically in the yoga tradition, there are 8 major siddhis, known as the Siddhis. These include extraordinary abilities like levitation, teleportation, and even influence over others. In Chapter 3 of the Yoga Sutras, known as Vibhuti-pada, is described siddhis that arise from deep inner absorption, or samyama, fusion of concentration, meditation, and samadhi, with abilities such as clairvoyance, clairaudience, past life remembering, and mastery over the elements. There are also more modern and subtle siddhis that people often experience on the path, things like aura reading, chi manipulation, or spontaneous languages. There are countless amounts of these abilities, and these are real useful tools. But this is the paradox of these tools, as the misuse of these tools will create greater separation from the source, as well as seeking these abilities will also lead you astray. Siddhis are like a double-edged sword. Like the wise Uncle Ben once said, with great power comes great responsibility. Let us go through some examples that I went through of both the benefits and the traps of the siddhis to better understand how to navigate them wisely. First, let's take the siddhi of remembering past lives. This can be a deeply beneficial gift, especially for karmic insight. It can show us unresolved patterns, deepen your understanding of yourself and your dharma, and accelerate inner growth by helping you detach from illusion. But like all siddhis, it has its traps. The present moment is the only true gateway to the source. If you become attached to your past lives, clinging to who you were, you lose clarity of who you are. Another distortion is the belief that you were a saint, mystic, or royalty in a past life. Even if true, identifying with that image creates ego inflation and spiritual hierarchy. And often these impressions are symbolic or archetypical, not literal. Mistaking the metaphor for the message only creates more confusion. Like all siddhis, this is a test, a reflection from the subconscious. If it arises, receive it with humility. Let it show you the patterns to release, not personas to hold on to. The second example is clairvoyance, or divine sight. This is the ability to see beyond the physical, and it can take many forms, from seeing energies and auras to perceiving subtle archetypes, symbols, or the holographic nature of reality. This gift can help you recognize patterns, see the bigger picture, and better understand the infinity we live within. But again, the trap is in attachment. Spiritual ego loves to claim, I can see more than others. But seeing more does not mean you are more. Just because you perceive energy doesn't mean you understand it, and getting addicted to the stimulation of visions can pull you away from silence. Another distortion is mistaking symbols and figures for truth. Inner sight is often symbolic, and if you grasp at the image, you miss the message. See without seeking, and witness without holding. The third siddhi I want to explain is the ability to feel and move chi or prana and to work with the 5 elements through that energy. This allows you to move energy through your system, release blockages, balance the body, and harmonize with your environment. It's one of the most useful tools for self-healing and energetic awareness, as chi is the living intelligence of the elements flowing through you, and once awakened, becomes a sacred language between you and the universe. But the trap of this siddhi is subtle. When the spiritual ego tries to manipulate energy, to force heal, or to perform for others, it often bypasses true integration. Without clarity and neutrality, energy work, especially practices like Reiki, can entangle karma between people. Sending your life force into others without full consent and balance can create karmic loops between practitioner and receiver. And getting stuck in fascination with chi or the elemental layer can keep you circling in the energetic realm, instead of moving into the causal, the formless, the absolute. Another deep truth about siddhis is that you will not obtain siddhis by seeking after them, as you do not meditate to get these abilities, as they are not earned through desire, but they are revealed through refinement. They are a natural byproduct of purification, concentration, surrender, and presence. After my first time seeing auras in a deep meditative state, I wanted to be able to do it again, but it was not until I surrendered to not wanting it till I was able to utilize this ability. As awareness deepens, especially through spiritual practices, the 5 senses begin to evolve or upgrade as well, as you begin to realize that your physical senses are always just gateways to something far more infinite. As each sense becomes more than just a tool of the physical, as they transform into spiritual antennas, becoming portals to deeper perceptions. Through the explanation of Kundalini and Kundalini awakenings, as one rises Kundalini and purifies oneself, the body goes through a bioneurological upgrade where the refinement of the nervous system occurs. The senses' sensitivity heightens to having awareness of the subtle energies and multi-dimensions. The sense of sight is associated with clairvoyance, the ability to perceive energy, auras, patterns, and a holographic nature of reality. This is similar to the associations of the ability of the third eye and its psychic abilities, as it can be as little as the world suddenly appearing in HD and can be as deep as the ability of remote viewing. In traditional Ayurvedic, it is associated with the element of fire. Becomes clairaudience, the ability to hear subtle energies such as messages from higher dimensions, guides, and divine sound currents. This includes the high-pitched ringing, called the universal sound from Taoism, the sound of Om, sometimes referred to the DMT roar, or even whispers from higher beings in nature. Hearing is tied with the element of Akasha, or space, making this sense the most subtle and expansive. It also is associated with out-of-body experiences, like astral projection, as this sense is a useful tool for these processes. The sense of smell begins to perceive energetic signature, such as the scent of the past loved ones, aroma of prana, or the smell of burning or smoking during energy release and transformations. The sense of smell will be able to detect prana, such as in herbs, plants, and flowers, as well as detect the subtle amarita, the divine nectar. Smell is traditionally understood as the association with the earth element in Ayurveda, but I would also say it has close tie to air due to its connection to the breath and pranayama, as advanced practitioners can even control which nostril is active or enter the breathless state. The sense of taste evolves into the perception of vibrational essence, sensing sweetness, bitterness, or sourness in people, emotions, or environments, as this sense allows it to detect prana in food and the air itself. And it has a deeply rooted connection to the Amrita, the divine nectar, tasting like a subtle milk, honey, rosewater, or nectar. The role of this system is for refining and balancing the energetic body and processes, and has a great association with Kundalini awakening and higher states of consciousness and bliss, like Samadhi. Furthermore, your ability to taste whatever you perceive is heightened, as there is a direct link to memory and water. As in traditional Ayurveda, this association is with the element of water. The sense of touch becomes clairsentience, the ability to feel energy, emotion, and subtle shifts in the environments or others. This is the ability of feeling auras, chakras, chi, or presence of guides. Not as in the imagination or mental space, but as a physical sensation. In traditional Ayurveda, this sense is associated with the element of air due to its high awareness of movement and vibration. But this sense is also connected with the element of earth, as it deals with the physical world and grounding. As we can see from the chakra levels, the hands and feet become extra sensitive to energies such as chi, as is their role for the absorption and manipulation of energy. Furthermore, the sense allows one to understand the connectedness of the body, both physically and energetically. Physically, you'll be able to perceive organs, nerves, and atomic structures, as well as energetically perceive meridians, chakras, and the elements. And clairsentience is associated with nonverbal communication, such as telepathy, or just reading the vibe. During deep states of concentration, purification, or balancing, these spiritual functions of the senses begin to activate. Paradoxically, they aren't new. They've always been there. The senses are simply portals to your multidimensional self, in the multidimensional world. So in moments of deep healing, such as a Kundalini awakening, the senses may begin to upgrade. But paradoxically, they are not actually becoming more than they were. They are becoming what they were always meant to be. That's why sometimes it doesn't feel like a dramatic change, because in truth, you have always been this sensitive. You are just finally clearing the static. In my own case, I went 12 years without the ability to smell. And through deep inner work, I not only regained my sense of smell, but also began experiencing its spiritual potential. As one balances, purifies, and returns to unity, these siddhis and sensory awakenings naturally begin to unfold. They're incredibly useful tools, but can be a double-edged sword. If used with clarity, they will guide you. If chased or misused, they will distract you. We even see modern examples of these abilities in things like the telepathy tape, a podcast exploring psychic phenomena in non-speaking individuals. Despite not using verbal language, many of these individuals demonstrate abilities such as telepathy and energetic empathy, and even shared vision, reminding us that the mind is not the only channel for communication. Awareness goes beyond. There's also a classic yogic story that captures the role of siddhis. A devoted yogi spends years in deep practice, eventually developing the siddhi to walk across water. With pride and excitement, he approaches a revered guru to demonstrate his accomplishment. After demonstrating by walking across the river, the guru simply smiles and says, "Impressive! I say that is worth $2. The devoted yogi, confused, asks, "Why do you value it so little? For this is an extraordinary act." And the guru says, "Well, it cost me $2 to take a ferry across the river." That's it for today's video. Like, subscribe, and leave any comments or questions that you want me to talk about. Thanks for watching. Peace. Do you ever feel lost? Confused about who you are, why you're here, and what your true purpose is? Do you feel disconnected, lacking the purpose, direction, or energy to do what you truly want in life? I know that feeling well because I lived it. But through that confusion, I discovered something powerful. The deeper meaning you're searching for is already within you. The problem is, most people are never taught how to access it. That's why I'm dedicating my life to help others reconnect with their true self, to understand what life is really about, break free from limitations, and master their energy. My name is Ellislhernandez, and my journey began with a powerful awakening after a long period of depression and disconnection. Since then, I spent years diving deep into spirituality, science, philosophy, and energetic mastery. Through practices like meditation, yoga, qigong, holistic health, and a lot more, I've learned how to activate my energy, live in effortless flow, and follow my true passion. Now, I help others do the same. I work with people who are ready to break through, align their soul's purpose, and step into the most vibrant, awakened version of themselves. If that's you, I offer personalized one-on-one coaching to guide and accelerate your transformation. I also offer online courses designed to unlock your potential. And I have a YouTube channel filled with powerful insights to guide your journey. You don't have to stay stuck, and you don't have to keep searching. The path is already unfolding. Are you ready to step into the life you are meant to live and master your own energy? Click below to begin the journey today.